There's nothing like a truly gripping underdog story. As audiences, we love to see a David take on a Goliath. We love the scrappiness, the heart of a character who knows the odds are stacked against them, yet fights on anyway.
I can do this all day.
When it comes to classic underdog films, it's hard to top the 1976 boxing classic Rocky. But of all the underdog stories that have been told, what is it about the tale of a down-on-his-luck boxer from Philadelphia that stands out from all the rest? Today we're going to be looking at the unique character motivation of the Italian stallion, Rocky Balboa. We'll do this by looking at the three key elements of Rocky's character progression: desire and obstacle, the lie, and the surprise goal. Spoiler warning for Rocky. In their most basic forms, stories can be described in this way. A character wants something, but something else is standing in their way. To have a basic understanding of a character then, we need only ask, what do they want and why can't they have it? For a flat, single-dimension character, this is as far as we need to go. Most serialized protagonists who appear in multiple stories are flat characters, consisting only of surface desire and obstacle. For example, James Bond is usually portrayed as a single-dimension character. His desire is to complete his mission, and his obstacle is whichever villain of the week is standing in his way. For two-dimensional characters, however, we need to dig a little deeper, asking two sets of questions. What do they want and why can't they have it? And what do they really want and why can't they really have it? This double set of questions creates a distinction between the surface goal and obstacle and the internal goal and obstacle. Once Rocky is given the chance to fight Apollo Creed, the surface goal and obstacle become immediately obvious. The goal is the heavyweight title, and the obstacle is defending champion Apollo Creed. Now, if Rocky were a single-dimension character like the original James Bond, this would be as far as we go. We know his goal, we know his obstacle, end of story. But Rocky is a two-dimensional character, so we have to go a level deeper, to the internal desire and obstacle. What does he really want, and why can't he really have it? To fully understand this, we need to examine a fundamental aspect of two-dimensional characters: the lie. Two-dimensional characters begin a story with a misperception of themselves or the world around them. Throughout the story, our character will be forced to confront this misperception and either reject it or choose to continue believing it. Author K.M. Weiland refers to this misperception as the lie your character believes. In the case of Rocky, we see the effects of the lie before we learn the nature of the lie itself. We see a boxer in decline, living paycheck to paycheck as a hired thug for the mob. Through his former trainer, Mickey, we learn Rocky has real talent, but has squandered it and is living below his potential. Only later do we learn the lie. Rocky believes, deep down, that he is a bum, that he's always been a bum and will always be a bum. This is the lie our character believes, and it will take the events of the story to force him to confront this lie. To make a character progression both believable and satisfying, the struggle against the lie must be long, difficult, and full of setbacks. We see this in Rocky. After he's given the chance to fight Apollo Creed for the heavyweight title, he begins to train apathetically, failing to take the fight seriously. Why? Because he believes he's a bum who doesn't stand a chance against Creed. The more pervasive a character's lie is, the more difficulty they'll have in defeating it. This is incredibly true of Rocky. Everything in his life backs up the lie. Apollo and the organizers of the fight treat him as a joke, nothing more than a publicity stunt to further Apollo's career. The people closest to Rocky, including his boss and friends, patronize him and belittle his intelligence. The only two people in his life challenging the lie are his manager Mickey and girlfriend Adrian. There's a delicate balancing act in writing a character like Rocky, a character who doesn't believe in themselves. The obvious question an audience will ask is, if this guy doesn't believe in himself, why should I believe in him? There are two keys to mastering a character like this: make them relatable and show glimmers of the hero within. Though Rocky doesn't believe in himself, we're still rooting for him because he's likable and relatable. Even when down on his luck, Rocky keeps an upbeat attitude and possesses a certain childlike innocence, caring for two pet turtles and practicing pickup lines in the mirror. More than anything though, we root for Rocky because of those glimmers of true nobility we see in him. There is a genuine goodness in Rocky that bubbles up to the surface every now and again, whether it's pulling a drunk out of the cold or trying to keep a young neighborhood girl from going down the wrong path. More often than not, this goodness is overlooked or rejected, reinforcing Rocky's belief that he's just a bum.
Yeah, who are you to give advice, creepo?
This is excellent, well thought out writing that invests the audience in our character, putting us in the position of his girlfriend Adrian, a character who sees the good in Rocky and wants to draw it out. It's the struggle against the lie that makes scenes like the famous training montage in Rocky so satisfying. We're not just watching a boxer train for a big fight, we're watching a character we've come to love finally believe in himself. For those of you paying close attention, it should be apparent that something is missing. We've talked about surface desire, surface obstacle, and internal obstacle, but what about internal desire? It's this final element that sets Rocky apart as one of, if not the greatest underdog story of all time. The very definition of an underdog is a character who believes, against all odds, that they can win. Once Rocky confronts his lie and starts to believe in himself, we naturally assume this is now his mindset, to beat Apollo Creed and win the heavyweight title. The night before Rocky's big fight, he goes to the arena where there are massive posters of himself and Creed. Rocky points out to the fight organizer that they've given him the wrong color shorts on the poster. The organizer laughs, saying he's sure Rocky will still give them a good show. The implication here is subtle, but poignant. The organizer, and with him the rest of the world, don't take Rocky seriously. Rocky returns home and tells Adrian he has no shot at beating Creed. At first, it seems the lie is once again taking hold of Rocky, that he's just a bum who can't win. Then, as Rocky continues talking, we learn something important. Rocky's ultimate goal isn't to beat Creed, it's to go the distance with him, to finish the 15-round fight without getting knocked out. This revelation recontextualizes everything about Rocky's character, his motivation, and the very core of the story. Rocky's goal isn't to dominate, but to endure. His goal is humble, even noble. He's not looking to prove he's the best in the world, but rather to prove himself once and for all. He wants to prove that he's not a bum, that there's something truly special inside him. At last, we've been given our final piece of the puzzle. Rocky's internal goal, what he really wants, is to go the distance, not just literally, but metaphorically. Notice what this does to Rocky's surface goal. At the beginning, we listed this goal as beat Creed, but now we realize this isn't quite true. Rocky's internal goal of going the distance metaphorically has recontextualized his surface goal into lasting all 15 rounds without getting knocked out.
That's all I want to do is go the distance.
This moment alters our perception of the events that have transpired and the events still to come. The goal of Rocky's hard work and intense training hasn't been to defeat Creed, but rather to withstand Creed, taking whatever beating the champ can dish out and remain standing. Likewise, once we do reach the penultimate fight, we're not watching to see if Rocky will beat Apollo, but to see if he'll remain standing. The story of Rocky reveals the true contextual power of character motivation. Just look at what the revelation of Rocky's goal does to the character of Apollo Creed. Where before he was a talented boxer, now he is something like a force of nature, the embodiment of the lie that has beaten Rocky down his entire life. When Rocky knocks Apollo off his feet, we see it not as a miraculous feat of skill and strength, but as Rocky telling the lie that he's had enough, that he will not lay down and accept that he is a bum. The 15-round fight at the end of Rocky is one of the most gripping sequences in all of film. With every punch Creed lands, we wonder if this is the time Rocky finally goes down. And with every punch Rocky lands, we're cheering right along with the crowd, because we know what this fight is truly about: Rocky versus the lie. Deep into the fight, Rocky finally gets knocked down. As he struggles to get up, his manager Mickey, seeing the condition he's in, tells Rocky to stay down. Consider what this moment would mean if Rocky's ultimate goal was to win the fight. Would it be gripping? Sure. If Rocky is counted out of the fight, he will lose and fail to achieve his goal. But consider how much more poignant this moment is, knowing that Rocky's goal is to go the distance. He's almost there, just minutes from the final bell. And now he's on the ground, unable to get up, the lie looming over him. You gave it a good shot, kid, but you just weren't quite good enough. Maybe you are just a bum after all. There's a powerful moment as Rocky finally staggers to his feet and motions Creed over to hit him again. Creed, who has been dancing around in victory, shakes his head in disbelief, a defeated look on his face. Why is this moment so powerful? Because the fight isn't over yet. In one sense, Creed shouldn't look defeated, as the winner of the fight hasn't been declared yet. But keep in mind what Creed has come to represent, the lie that's been knocking Rocky down his entire life. This is what we see in this moment, the lie hanging its head in defeat, unable to break the spirit of a man determined to go the distance. Here's the true power and importance of character motivation. Ask anyone who is vaguely aware of the story of Rocky who wins the fight at the end of the movie. Many would answer that it's the protagonist, Rocky. And if this were any other sports movie, they would be right. But Rocky doesn't actually win this match. Creed does in a split decision. But it doesn't matter. Watch Rocky's reaction at the end of the fight. He doesn't even listen for the result. He just shouts into the crowd for Adrian. How can this be? How can a character who's trained for months not be interested in the results of the fight? Because of his internal motivation. Rocky has done it. He's gone the distance, proven to himself and to the world that he's not just a bum. So it's only natural that his first impulse would be to call out to the one person who never stopped believing in him, Adrian. In my last video, I analyzed Field of Dreams, my father's favorite movie. It was only fitting then that my next breakdown would cover my mom's favorite film, so this video is dedicated to her. Just like Adrian, she has always been able to see and draw out the best in those she cares about, and like Rocky, has always possessed the determination to go the distance. Characters like Rocky stick with us because they possess traits and motivations that are inherently good, right, and inspiring. Many could understand the goal of winning a boxing title, but the goal of enduring, withstanding, and overcoming is universal, transcending film and story and resonating in the deepest parts of us. Great characters prompt something inside that's real and good. It's why Rocky Balboa, the Italian stallion, will always remain one of the greatest characters in all of fiction. So I hope this helps. Comment below with the fictional character who inspires you the most, and subscribe for more writing tips.